Hi, this is Peter Sage, and in today's video I'm going to share with you the keys on how to be a successful entrepreneur. And in this video I'm going to be teaching you 4 key points. Now the reality is there's a lot more than just 4 points to being an entrepreneur, but the challenge with most people is that they're looking for the wrong things. Most people are focused on, is it the idea? Yeah, is it the amount of money or startup capital that I have? Is it the education that I get on how to run a business? And I'm here to say that while those may be supporting factors in certain circumstances, they are not the keys you want to focus on if you want to become an entrepreneur. To be able to make that leap into captaining your own ship. And what I do want you to focus on are these 4 points specifically, because just like being able to hack through something with a shortcut, you have these in place, it'll transform everything. It'll stack the deck in your favor. If you don't have these in place and you have everything else that you think you need, like the best idea or business plan, I promise you, it's going to be an uphill struggle. So let's have a look at what these 4 keys are. The first one, understand. Understand what? Understand what a job is, because a job is the alternative to being an entrepreneur. It's where most people find themselves, having been sold on the school system of traditional education to go get some good grades, get through college, get accepted into a prestigious name, or work hard studying night and day so that you can get a piece of paper signed by somebody you've never met to tell you that you're actually clever enough to master a subject you're probably never going to focus on once you leave school. Now, I don't want to be disrespectful for people that have actually followed that path, but let's just be real and look at the numbers. Most people do not get engaged in the thing that they study in school, college, or university. It happens to be a system where they're searching for certainty, and when we get to one of the other points, you'll see why that is the antithesis of being an entrepreneur. It almost conditions you against taking the risks that are required to become an entrepreneur. Yes, of course, we have to take risks, but there's ways of doing it to hedge those bets in your favor. Again, these points are going to cover that. So understand, what is a job? A job is something that you give your time to somebody else for in a fixed job description to be paid a fixed amount of money at the end of the week, with or without bonuses. And the challenge with that is this. If you earn even a good wage, let's pick $1,000 or £1,000 or €1,000 or yen a week, whatever it is for you that would represent a good wage. The challenge with that, let's say $1,000. The challenge is that if you're earning $1,000 a week, then the job that you're doing has to be worth more than $1,000 a week. Otherwise, there's no benefit to the business owner. In other words, by having a job, you will always have to settle for less than what you're worth. And what you're doing is you're trading off that need for certainty for a lack of self-esteem, a lack of self-worth. And that, unfortunately, puts people out of the running to be an entrepreneur and stops so many people from embracing the challenge of being able to go forward and contribute something to the world and live the life on their own terms. So what is a job? A job is a fast track to a life of mediocrity. Case closed. Now again, if you're passionate about the job that you're doing, then that's great. But this is for people that want to be an entrepreneur, and I'm assuming that, otherwise you wouldn't have clicked on this video. So if you're sat there thinking, I've got my job and I'm holding on to it tightly here, but here's the entrepreneur path, and when do I let go? I'm here to tell you that unless you master these points, this is never going to happen. So the first thing you have to do to start loosening that grip is to stop telling yourself the story that you need the job. You do not need the job. You may want the job to give you certainty, but I promise you, there's a whole different life waiting on the other side. So understand what a job is. People sometimes say, well, what about job security? There's no security in starting my own business. I might fail. Well, it's true. A lot of businesses fail. But guess what? The only job security, in my mind, is being an entrepreneur. Because the alternative to that is what? The alternative to job security is the ability of your CEO or managing director or the owner of the business that you work for in your job. It's their ability to run his or her company. If they don't run their company well, you could be the best at making widgets or filing or doing customer service or whatever the role is that you're doing. You could be the best in the world. It doesn't matter. If they can't run the business that is supplying you that position, it's toast. Whereas if you get to learn the fundamentals of captaining your own ship, then that's a whole different ballgame. So first, understand what a job is, because then it makes it a little easier to let go of it. Second key point, ask. Ask what? Ask better questions. Now that may sound a little obvious, but let me just tell you that most people don't start businesses, most people have a problem in relationships, most people go through life unfulfilled simply because they don't ask the right questions. By asking a question, it directs the focus of your brain to look in a place where you can have access to more resources or more fulfillment. So what kind of questions should you be asking if you want to become an entrepreneur? Well, the first question is, why do I want to be an entrepreneur? Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? That sounds like an obvious question. Why? Because here's the first problem that most people make, unfortunately. Most people leave their job because they don't like their job. I want to be an entrepreneur because I hate my boss. Wrong reason. I want to be an entrepreneur because my mum and dad don't think I did well enough, and I want to prove to them that I can do it. Or I want to be an entrepreneur because I really want to prove to my brother that I'm as good as he is because he started his business. Wrong reasons. Unless you can ask yourself better questions as to why you want to be an entrepreneur, and look for the truthful answer. Is it because it provides a pathway, especially in today's society, that gives you a way to find and express your passion? Is it a pathway so that you can take control of your own life on your own terms rather than dance to somebody else's music? So what kind of questions you want to ask? Why am I being an entrepreneur? If it's for the right reasons, you're in. If it's because I want to make more money, I'm here to tell you, that's like saying I want to have babies because I want to have more time to myself. It doesn't work that way. You're going to chase your tail. I do a whole masterclass on money. Go watch that. You'll understand. So if you have a look at asking better questions like, if I knew it was impossible to fail, what would I do? If I could only spend my life doing one thing, what would it be? If there was something that I love to do so much, I'd actually pay to do it, what would that be? See, those kind of questions start to dial you in away from the certainty trap. In other words, I want to be an entrepreneur, so I'm going to start a business in something that I think will give me the most chance of success. I don't really enjoy it, but it's something I know. That is a fast track to nowhere. As opposed to saying, something I've always wanted to work with people or animals or numbers or children or work in a customer-facing environment that I can really get out and work and interact with people. Whatever it is for you, ask yourself those kind of questions will start to lead you down a pathway of passion versus certainty. And that's so important because in business, my friends, just as in life, there is no certainty. So if you're chasing certainty from the beginning because you think that you know more about how to succeed in this, I'm here to tell you that will stop 30 seconds into applying whatever it is you think your business plan will give you. There is no certainty. Business plans are great, but I've never seen one fail on paper. There is uncertainty at every turn, but that's the nature of life. See, the strongest trees don't grow in the best soil. They grow in the strongest winds. So learning how to approach and accept that level of adversity and uncertainty is really where true entrepreneurs start to shine. But ask yourself better questions before you start committing to a life that inherently includes more uncertainty. Okay, third point, upgrade. Upgrade what? Not your car, not your flight ticket. Upgrade something way more important that will lead you to be able to upgrade your car and your flight ticket. Upgrade your peer group. Now, why do I say that? Because there is a law in life, and I didn't make it up, but you can look at it everywhere. The evidence is astounding. It's called the law of conformity. I call it the 95% law because 5% of people in the world own the world. 5% of people in the world retire in any kind of shape financially, let alone emotionally, spiritually, or otherwise. Why? Because they hang out together. You hang out with 10 motivated, self-starting guys that will call you on your excuses and say, you're better than that, come on, let's do it. Yes, you can, I believe in you, let's go. And you'll likely become the 11th. You hang around with 10 people who sit on the couch eating Haagen-Dazs, making excuses, 10 people who prefer sleep rather than success, and you're going to become the 11th. Not because you're a good person, not because they're bad people. It's not about that. It's about behaviors are conditioned, and your environment is your biggest conditioner. So choose your environment, choose who you hang with. Yeah, how do you upgrade your peer group? By setting your intention to be somebody of value, setting your intention to not accept excuses into your life. And therefore the people in your life that come up with excuses won't want to be around you anymore. Why? Because you've just taken theirs away. You know, one of the tragedies I see of people that want to become an entrepreneur is that they get all excited, they muster the courage, they hand in their notice at work, they have this great idea, yeah, and they run out and they tell their best friend or the people they normally hang with, who aren't entrepreneurs, yeah, they're people that they work with or their family or their friends. And the first thing that normally happens is it gets shot down in flames. The dream stealers of society. Again, not because they're bad people, but because by sharing your ambitions with somebody who has lower ambitions, it threatens their model of the world in a way that you could take the excuse away from them to step outside of their comfort zone. And most people just aren't ready for that. So love your family, choose your friends. Hang out with people who can inspire you. Even if you don't have them in your immediate circle right now, listen to people who inspire you. Download their podcasts, read their books, watch their videos on YouTube. But surround yourself mentally with the energy of people who say yes you can, not why you can't. Number 4, develop the right habits. Now, when we talk about habits, a lot of people think, oh no, I just got to get into new habits, or I'm trying to break up my old habits. Habits are nothing more than conditioned behaviors over time. That's all. Don't make them into more things, but there are specific habits that successful and fulfilled entrepreneurs have that I've noticed people that don't quite make the grade don't quite master. And so I'm going to give you a couple of habits up front that I think will really help in being able to develop yourself as an entrepreneur. The first one is actually develop the habit of taking care of your body. Now, I don't want to turn this into a fitness video because there's more than enough of those around there, but let me tell you something. To have the energy and the passion that entrepreneurs have, you can't do it if you're obese or overweight. Yeah, you can't have the level of self-esteem if you're not happy with where you're at. And if you're going to go out there and be an example for the world, for yourself, to show them how you can be the person who shows up when everybody else is in bed, you can't do that if your energy levels are through the floor. And you can't do it surviving just on caffeine and Red Bull and pre-workout drinks and all of that stuff. That has a time limit. They can be useful to get you out into certain states at certain times, but relying on that as a habit is the wrong habit. But taking charge of your health. Why? Because your body's amazing. If you stretch it past its comfort zone, it will always return with a better version of itself. You notice that? Yeah, physically getting out and taking care of yourself and do what it is that you love. I'm not here to say that, whether it's weights, whether it's yoga, whether it's running, whether it's Pilates, whether it's spinning classes, whether it's just going for a walk in nature, whether it's swapping out the sodas for good quality water, whether it's choosing not to supersize your meal when you're in the wrong restaurants. Just be mindful of what you put in. So developing the habit of being able to take care of your body so that it can serve you on your journey. There's a famous story of a friend of mine told me of a homeless guy that was in great shape at 80. And they asked him a question, why are you in such great shape? You're homeless, you don't join a gym, you can't even afford food. How come you're in such amazing shape? I'll never forget what they said. The story said that he used to go around all the fruit and veg markets at the end of the day and get anything that was left over. So his diet was literally raw fruit and veg. And he turned around and he says, well, of course I take care of my health. If I don't look after my body, I'll have nowhere to live. And I thought, wow, what an insight. What a beautiful insight. My friends, if we don't make time for health, we can only make time for illness. That's it. The challenge is most people don't oil the garden gate until it starts squeaking, and then it's too late. So do something healthy. Take care of your body. First habit. Second habit I'm going to encourage you to look at. The habit of embracing uncertainty. We spoke a lot about certainty and uncertainty on this video, predominantly because the number one characteristic or the number one trait I've seen that separates successful entrepreneurs from unsuccessful entrepreneurs is the willingness to handle uncertainty. How do you do that? Practice getting out of your comfort zone. Which, my friends, if you only knew what a comfort zone was, you'd only be too keen to jump out of it like a frog out of a saucepan. It's so inconsistent with our nature of who we are. So, if you can have the habit of embracing uncertainty by doing something each day where you go to where your fear is. Robin Sharma, amazing guy, turns around and says, the fears we don't face become our limits. I know Robin, I've shared the stage with Robin. He's an amazing guy, he has such a depth of information, but that one quote is so true. Your fears you don't face become your limits. So on that note, please stretch and push yourself. It may be just to, I'm scared of public speaking. Go speak at, at Toastmasters. Go book something in the diary right now that would cause you to go, whoa. Go ask out the guy or the girl on a date you've had your eye on and been stalking on Facebook for the last 3 weeks, whatever it may be. Just go and do something outside of your comfort zone. Develop that habit, and everything else becomes easy. Now again, I could go into lots more stuff, but I wanted to give you those 4 keys, because if you master those 4, everything else falls into place. If you have that as a foundation, your road, your pathway to becoming an entrepreneur who is passionate, that has let go of the certainty of a job, that has developed the right habits, that's asked themselves the best questions to point their focus in a direction that takes them towards their passion rather than towards a pathway of mediocrity. And to develop the habit of being fit, healthy and vibrant, to have that energy, that spark, that passion, so that you can chase the life of the dreams, the life that you deserve to live as an enlightened entrepreneur.